Huh. Looks like you were looking at the top of my head as I was getting the live stream started here. I'm working on my book, The Most Crucial Knots to Know, and I'm going to show you the effort that goes into it and a little bit of the work and give you some tidbits as I go along here. Now I'm going to switch over to my screen and show you. Here we go. Alright, we'll see how well this works. There's a lot to live switching. I'll give you an idea in just a moment, but my book, The Most Crucial Knots to Know, is a compendium of about 40 knots and hitches that are very useful for people to tie knots with for survivalists, adventurers, campers, expeditioners, and everything else. Now, you might say, hey, that's pretty crazy. There are a lot of books. Well, why is my book different? Because I have live pictures, real photos of rope. Not illustrations, not terrible drawings. You will actually see rope in my drawings. What does it take to do a live stream? Let me show you here. Let me switch this over. This is a photo on my computer of the huge mess that it takes to set up a live stream with a switcher and everything else. So what I'm going to do is just switch to InDesign. Adobe's InDesign is what I write these books with, and give you an idea with me streaming in the front. And you can watch me actually write this book and see what it's like. It's pretty interesting, really. Let me make sure live streaming is active. Alrighty, well, we'll see what happens. We'll switch this over. Picture in picture, there we go. Alright. No, close you, close you. What we're going to do is work on the square knot. The square knot, let's see if we can get to 2 ends of rope here. The square knot is one of the simplest knots to know. You simply flip over here, you flip over here, voila, the square knot. Seemed pretty easy, right? Well, that is probably the most fundamental Boy Scout and scouting knot there is, the square knot. What I'm going to do is now go through the editing process and show you what it takes to get it in the book. Picture in picture mode. Okay, there we go. Alright. First gotta drink some tea. Yeah. This is a good time. Alright, what I'm gonna do is go in and find my square knot files. Grab those guys and begin dropping them 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when and where to use, because that is the thing about my book, is that I want to show people that, hey, this is when and where to use these knots, just not a tie it here and that's it, but instead give you some directions and guidance on where to use these knots and more importantly, where not to use these knots when you're working on the rope. All right, so I'm gonna go find a previous one I've worked on, capture some things here. All right. And ropes have all sorts of lingo in and of themselves, the standing part, the running end, and all this hoopla. And my book, oops, I found a typo. Sweet, that's why I do this kind of editing. It's because it makes me much more conscious of what I'm doing. Let me go find my square knot here, Prusik. The square knot, there we go. Run this over here. Okay, and up. Now, because the square knot is pretty simple, it's not that big a deal, so I'm going to make the illustrations really big for people and draw them around. But other more complex knots get 4 pages, so it's easier to follow and understand. Okay. All right, we're going to take this knot over here, and we're going to enlarge it a lot. And the goal of this book is to give you huge, huge pictures. That way, there's no question of what does that knot actually look like. And I want to make it easy for people. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got to figure out my steps here. That is the trick. Now, because the square knot's so easy, it can take up a lot of space on the screen, and it really doesn't bother me. Now, all the screen stuff looks like it's a big busy mess. Don't worry, I can switch it around and show you clean images or a completely clean image of what the book actually looks like. So there are some tricks in this business of publishing. All right, so standing part, running in. Now with the square knot, there are actually 2 running ins that you swirl around each other. Whether you chase right or chase left, it's not that big a deal. I'll get the knot again here. So I always, one end here and then one end there. I usually just use one end as a running in. Some people will tie it over and then they'll go backwards with the right hand twice. That's not me, but that's just a way to do it. So lots of options in this knot world, which is pretty fun. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to call the orange rope the running end, and then we'll label everything else standing part. And the standing part of the rope is the part that doesn't do anything, and it just hangs out. Standing part, running end. It really all sounds like Greek until you really start to learn knots. Okay. And what I'm going to do is zoom in and out here just to give you an idea of what's going on. Let's see. Scouting knot. This is one of the scouting knots. Tie 2 ropes together of similar size. That's important because if the 2 lines, let's see. Now the question is, when you tie this together, will it fall apart? No, it really doesn't fall apart, but if you bounce it around a lot, it will eventually fall apart. Okay. Requires tension to stay tied. Requires tension to stay tied. Scouting knot. Alright. Oh, okay. Good. And what we're going to do is take this rope here, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. And each of these knots gets a little inset picture here so you can see what it is as you're scrolling through the book. Makes it a lot more fun. Hopefully somebody watches this someday. Who knows? Right, running end. Okay, good. Square knot. Perfect. And we're going to make this picture really, really big so it's easy to see what's going on. Because the square knot's probably the most fundamental knot in knot tying-dom, if you will. The knot is best used when it is placed against. Examples are tying a box, tying an umbrella, built-in straps, tying a box, tying string around a box, tying a bandana around your head or neck, knot against a surface, or tying a string around a box, umbrella with built-in straps, and tying that. Okay, cool, good. So far, so good. All right, and I need my text box, which I lost. I'll just grab any text box here. Okie dokie. Yeah. Step 1, place the right rope. I'm going to call it lines for this one. Line behind, let's see, running end, behind the running end of the left rope. And I'm putting notes in as I'm thinking about these things. I mean, I've been doing knots for almost pushing high 30s. I'm getting old here. But yeah, many years. I'm an Eagle Scout, so that's a key thing. You don't want to get too embarrassed with your knots. It's easy to always make a mistake, but it's just part of the fun of the experience. The square knot requires constant under cycle loading. With straps and cloth that is rough or flexible. Okay, run the right end, and I'm going to be able to write this super big. Left end of, let's say, running into the left rope. Then wrap the running, let's say, right line, orange in this case, running into the left line, green, then wrap the running end around the standing part of the left line. Okay, and this is where I get to add some arrows to give you an idea of the direction and the snakiness of what these knots actually take. Ooh. Now there's a lot of complexity. I do actually have an entire class on how to use InDesign, so if you really want to see what this takes, it's a lot of work to learn InDesign. I don't recommend going and doing this the way I'm doing, but I actually do this as a profession. Yeah, I do this as a profession, actually publish books and write books, so this is not unfamiliar to me. Not. That's pretty funny. All right, so okay, step 2, and now I'm going to blow this picture up here. All right. Now I photographed these on my Nikon D800, which has 36 megapixels of resolution or something, so there's lots of resolution in here. And one of the things about photographing this is I didn't use a point and shoot or my phone. I used my professional Nikon D800. That makes a big difference in the quality of my images. I've seen other competitor books where the rope is tied and it's gray, but it's on a gray background, so it's really hard to see. I've got a professional clip artist, or a clip out artist, or I don't know what you would call him, but he actually does better than I do about cutting the background out of the rope. I'll show you what these original images look like in a moment. 1 second here, just to give you an idea of, let me find books here. Square knot, square knot, square knot. Okay. All right, so switching to live. And now you can see what the original image looked like with a gray background, lots of little goobs and whatnot, and you can actually see the paper and the shadows and whatnot. But once I go to the full edited images, which are wherever they are, let me synchronize this. Oh yeah. And synchronizing, 1, 2, 3, 4, and square knot. And now you can see beautiful white background here. Whoops. So I've got the white background here. It's much cleaner than the big old messy gray background with all of that, because also if you don't know, when you're photographing a white background, the camera will turn it gray. Just like if I put my scouting book up to the camera, see how it turns gray and then you end up with mud in your pictures? You don't want that. So instead, what I did is I photographed it on a background using a professional camera, crazy amount of lighting, and then so instead of getting this raw blob of a mess, you get beautiful pictures like this. Alrighty. I'll switch back this on, or switch this on. Going to go to Photoshop because this only takes a gazillion dollars in software to make this all work. Love it. Alright, we're going to take this picture, this picture, this picture. We're going to edit original. Now I'm clicking really fast, but I need to work here, so if you really want to see what it's like to use InDesign, I do have a class to nonfiction InDesign if you want, but that's all up to you. And what I'm going to do is take my arrow and my shape and copy them over to my other layers, or my other files. 44, and that way I'm not redrawing things constantly, because this takes a lot of time and I do not want to take a lot of time to do this. Now my shape, I'm going to delete the mask here. Good. Alright, I'm going to pull this over. I'm going to wrap this around. Now let's see, which way is it drawn? Actually, it's looped around. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to put another point in here, right? And get my arrow up here. Whoa, broke my arrow. Let's try that again. Now this all looks like a mess, but don't worry. The checkerboard means transparent. Okay, I think let's fix this instead. Whoa, out of control there. Okay, good enough. I'll add my drop shadow, predetermined size, and around. It looks pretty good. And now what I'm going to do is extract my drop shadow from the background, give it a mask, zoom in here, and I'm going to get rid of my drop shadow there, and also my shape. Get rid of the shape here, and this is how I make the arrow go behind the rope, or at least appear to do so. It's all digital effects, just like Star Wars or anything else. Nothing is actually real anymore. It's kind of sad. I don't want to get too much commentary. There we go. Alright. There we go. Make sure my drop shadow. Oh, I'll show you a neat trick just a moment. Oops, hee. Don't draw black on your drop shadow. It looks kind of weird. Okay, cool. Now I don't know if this live stream is going to help me or not, but if I do a picture-in-picture, I'd be much slicker, that's for sure. Now you see that the drop shadow is over my arrow. I don't want that. I want the drop shadow below my arrow, but still functioning. Ooh, don't make it large. Okay, keep turning. Boom, done. Okay, there we go. I'm going to save that. Go back to InDesign, and now loops around. Yep, that's about right. Sweet. Alright, and now I'm going to draw the second arrow here. Nope. That's not good. Alright, so now, yeah, it goes behind. Delete that mask. Get the arrow to where it needs to be, this shape. Right. Hopefully I don't get too dizzy watching this. It's you're gonna be pretty whippy and fast because if I'm literally editing hundreds and hundreds of photos, the last thing I want to do is take forever. Okay, that makes sense, but I better make sure that's right. Yeah, you put it behind. Okay, yeah, it goes behind. Alright. And you'll drop shadow there. Hopefully the audio is good enough. Maybe I need to turn it up a bit. Let's see if I can do that for you. Because otherwise I'm just mumbling to myself. Is that any louder? Yeah. Okay, let's go even louder. Louder. Hello? Okay, good. There we go. Maybe you'll be able to hear that. We'll see what happens. Until I watch the actual live stream afterwards, I have no idea what's actually going to happen there. That's all part of the fun of the experience. Okay. Alright. Arrow. Good. Drop shadow set. And then create the drop shadow layer. Good. Change the shape. Generate a mask. Cut it out there. And then... Now you would think I would initially draw this more accurately, but what I've found is it's actually easier to just hack it off the rope and then put it back on, because when you're drawing one direction or another, sometimes it's actually easier to draw one direction on one thing and then another direction on another. And I've found over time of working on this book that by putting the shadow completely off of the rope and then putting it right next to it is actually easier than trying to be accurate in pulling the shadow off the rope in the first place. It's really weird, and I think it's just the psychology of how this all works. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, there we go. Alright. Nip it right there. Okay, there we go. Boom, boom. Yay. Okay. And now in a few seconds, hopefully, yep. There we go. My little arrow has appeared. Zoom in here. Okay, I can see 45 people. Whoa. What program are you using? Oh, I've actually got people asking questions. Better answer this. I am using... Ooh. Okay, so hang on. I'm typing here. I am using Design, Photoshop, and Lightroom. All right. Hello to Gospel Guns and K9 Prepper. Sweet, because this book is targeted to you too. So, hello, Gospel, and I like that. Guns and K9 Prepper. Okay, so thank you very much, Gospel, Guns, and K9 Prepper, for buying the book, or saying you're going to buy the pre-order. That book will be ready. It says February, but apparently I should be able to get this done earlier, so I'll get it out to market quicker. So you guys out there can get this. Let's say, hi, I'm from Wyoming, Alpine Gulch. Hello! How are you doing, Alpine Gulch? Thank you very much. I've got my live screen down here, so please forgive me if I don't immediately see your... Uh-oh. The wind is blowing outside. I might lose power here. Even better. That would be funny. Oh, so if I go black, you'll know the power cut off. So just something to watch for. Alrighty. Let's see. Hello, Alpine Gulch. Okay, cool. Alright, and Melissa Cook, I am using InDesign, Photoshop, and Lightroom to do all of this editing. So it's a lot of Adobe software. Adobe, you know, it's a whole other story. Take the running end of the... Let's see. And the right line and place it behind the end of the left line. Now sometimes describing knots is very confusing, and other times it totally works. That's a tough call. Most people like the description, but some people like the words. It's pretty interesting there. Now I need to make sure to put 2 here. Okay. Now one of the nice things is if I'm not perfectly accurate with the placement of this, I can fix it later. And InDesign gives me the ability. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to flip over to here. And we're going to add our arrow. And this is the swirly arrow doing the square knot. So when you look at this part of the square knot, here's the trickery. So you come around, you flip here, so it's very easy to mess this knot up. If you come around and you go the opposite direction, you end up with what's called the granny knot, which basically has 0 strength whatsoever. It's very easy to make the mistake. So whenever you tie the square knot, it should be beautiful, symmetric, and you pull on it. But if you blow it, and I've done it, I've made 10,000 granny knots in my life, so don't worry. But you'll see this one gets all twisted up, and no matter how tight I make it, it completely falls apart. So if you tie the square knot properly and pull it tight, that thing stays tight. But if you do it the other way and you tie this granny knot, let me switch over, sorry. If you tie the granny knot here, I forgot to switch over. See, if you tie the granny knot, I'm trying not to make the knot mistake, but if I tie the granny knot and I pull it, it just literally falls apart. So it's very easy to tell when you've tied the square knot properly. It actually has some strength. So very easy. Do not use the square knot as a life support knot. You'll die. You don't want to do that. It's great for packages and tying up umbrellas and low importance things, but do not rely on the square knot. There are far better knots in my book to show you how to do that. Back to work. All right. Okay, so now we're going to take the shape, delete the mask. Cool. Now we're going to have to show that we're going to loop this here. Whoa! That's one of the problems of taking a line and rejiggering it. Is sometimes it doesn't always work. So you got to go there. Here, we're going to add a loop and out there. And I think that will actually work. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Where in the world did my arrow go? Okay. Oh. And for all the things you click around, don't worry about making mistakes. I've made literally millions of mistakes in Photoshop in my life, and don't worry, nobody died. That's the best part about it. Okay, looks good. Drop shadow to layer. Drop this layer to here. We're going to create a masking layer, and we want to, whoops, we'll do this, and you'll notice right here I can switch the color by X. It's very quick and slick. Lots of tips and tricks. If you're doing this sort of work, or you're doing video editing, actually I did it the wrong way. If you're doing video editing or Photoshop editing, learning the keyboard shortcuts is everything, because you waste so much time going into the menus or clicking. You want to learn the keyboard shortcuts in whatever software you're using. Trust me. Alrighty. I love that ATMA switcher. That thing is awesome. Alright, playbacks here. Zoom in. Hopefully everybody's having fun watching this. I know watching some person run Photoshop is not the most exciting thing, so if you want to hop off, just check out my link in the video description. That will tell you where to purchase the Most Crucial Knots to Know book. And that way you can get it when it becomes available. And I will make it available literally as soon as I can, because I don't want to wait 3 months to launch this book, because I know summer is coming. Well, summer's actually not coming, but it'll eventually be here. But you never know when you're going to need another knot, whether you're a prepper, a survivalist, or camper, or somebody that just needs to tie up. There we go. Just needs to tie up whatever you need to tie up. Cool. Alright, so we're going to save that. And then all of a sudden it appears like magic. Love it. Okay, step 3. Continue with the right running end and wrap it over and through the loop created with the left running end. If you've got a better description, I'm kind of just trying to make these up as I'm writing, and I've tied these knots hundreds of thousands of times, literally, over the last 40 years of my life. So, hey, put in the comments, like, yeah, could you tweak the description? I might actually do that, so definitely pay attention there, if you will. Continue with the right running end, wrap it over through the long created square knot standing part. Whoa, hey, messed that up. Okay. This is all part of the editing process. Oh, no, that doesn't look very good. I need to put this drawing behind. Now, I'm doing a lot of keyboard clicking, and you'll have no idea what I'm doing, because I can't really show the keyboard because it's a little difficult. Then I wouldn't be able to show myself. Although it could be interesting to show the keyboard. I'll have to get another camera and hook that up in here. I don't know how valuable that would be, but it might be kind of interesting. We'll do that in the future. Alright, let's see how we're doing. Standing part, running end. Better describe that a little bit more. Running end and running end. Now that's the thing about these labels here, is sometimes they can be more confusing and sometimes they are less confusing. And I have received feedback from both camps saying, yes, I love the labels. No, I hate the labels. I'm going to put the labels on. That's a tough call. Hopefully it becomes clear as I go along. And as I've worked on this book, I've actually changed the labels multiple times for better clarity because I use my laser printer. I've got a color laser printer. I print this up at 100% full scale. Let's see, do I have one? Oh, yeah, check it out. So I actually print my book up at full scale in color, and that way I can read and look at the pictures and see, hey, does this actually make sense, or is this actually junk? This is the figure 8 bend or the Flemish bend. And that way I can actually do some readability tests to see, is this junk, is this working, or whatever else. So definitely got to do that. And also, color printing is critical for a color book. If I print this in black and white, even though it looks fine on the screen, when it goes to print, sometimes... Alright, and it looks like I am done with the square knot. Dun, 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 dun. Square knot. And now I'm going to align this knot just a little bit better here. There we go. And we'll let the rope disappear. A little artistic thing, like I guess a Bob Ross sort of thing. Add a little splash. Add some friendly clouds. There aren't any clouds in this book, but that's okay. And I think that's it. Sweet. That is a square knot. Let's see, what else do I want to work on? The slip knot. Oh, the Packer's knot. Oh, or the Siberian Hitch. Love the Siberian Hitch. I've tied this one wrong a dozen times. But man, that Siberian Hitch, you have to put it over something. I don't have anything to tie this over. Oh, I'll put it over this. And what could go now? Yeah. Well, you get to watch me drop this thing. And I'll wrap it around, come around, and pull it here, and voila, the Siberian Hitch. The Siberian Hitch is glorious because it is a quick release knot. It is easy to remove. You just simply pull this out, and it auto tensions in. This is a great survivalist knot because if you have a survival tarp or a shelter, and you don't want to tie a permanent knot where it's a major pain, plus the Siberian Hitch or the Packer's knot, I'm looking at my screen here so I say it correctly. This knot just goes book, and then it just quickly slips out of your grommet on your tarp. So the Packer's knot is a sweet survivalist knot. Learn a little knots and okay. Hey, Alpine Gulch, yeah, thank you very much. This is great to watch. Learn knots and editing and thinking, plus a little more conversation. Absolutely appreciate you stopping by. Usually watching somebody click on the computer is about as mind-numbingly boring as you can get. But hopefully as I'm going along, you get a better idea of the psychology behind this. So yeah, definitely put some comments in the comment there. Unfortunately, I don't have super chat features yet. If I did, I would love it. But one day, maybe once I grow my channel big enough, who knows. All right, so slip knot. What else do I need to work on? The sheet bend. San Diego, now apparently it's pronounced Prussic, but everybody in America calls it Prussic. You know, tomato, tomato, whatever. People get all torqued out about stuff. Oh, the overhand knot. Yeah, that is a critical one. So the overhand knot is simply the easiest knot that you can... Oop, no, not the overhand knot. The overhand knot or half hitch. And that one I haven't even edited yet because I was like, I don't really want to put that in there. But I'm going to have to put that in there since that is the simplest knot. But I need to get my Photoshop guy to do his tunes and tweaks. So I'm not going to work on that one. What else do I want to work on? Ah, the overhand bite. That one's good. All right. So the overhand bite, I don't really like my photo here for the overhand bite because it doesn't look like much. So, I have to debate on that one. All right. So the overhand bite is pretty sweet. So if you want to put a solid loop at the end of the rope, there's nothing easier than overhand bite. Because what you do is you take a rope, you create the bite at the end of, now it's, yeah, like a bite. I don't know why they call it that. And you simply loop it around like this. I'll do it in 3D here. So you can see that. And then you just continue coming around. There you go. And now you create a permanent or semi-permanent loop at the end of the rope. If you're going to use this, make sure that you level it out and don't leave any lines or loops or crosses like, I didn't quite tie that right. Let's see. This is a critical thing that I talk about this in the book because if you leave these little twists, there we go, much better. So you don't want to leave these twists in here. You want to make sure this loop stays as flat as possible. Hopefully I don't punch myself. That would be pretty funny. All right. There you go. And that will create pretty much an invincible knot loop at the end of a rope. So instead of, and it's really hard to get apart once it tensions up. So instead of just tying the simple overhand knot, let me do that again. Sorry, I keep forgetting to switch. So the overhand knot, I would arguably say everyone can tie. Super simple, the simplest knot. But if you tie and you create a double loop here, you spin around, you tighten this bad boy up, that will create an awesome loop at the end of the rope. But just know if you don't tighten this down, it'll kind of bind up. And if you really tension this knot is hard to remove. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to work on the overhand bite knot next for you. All right, switching over. Okay, picture in picture. Love it. Alpine Gulch. Hey! Hey, Alpine Gulch. Thank you so much for the super chat. Dude, I didn't realize I was, or lady, I don't know. I'm super sorry. I think your picture is a bunny. So if you're a lady or a dude, my apologies. I'll just call you Alpine Gulch. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, maybe we'll have to put something together for these super chats for people. Maybe give you bonus material or some such thing. Leave a comment. I didn't actually think about that. My mistake. But boy, I really appreciate that. Thank you again, Alpine Gulch. All right, so let's get back to work. All right, so the overhand bite. This is one of those other super simple knots that doesn't take up a lot of space. I think I'm going to rotate this around. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay. Now, no, I'm going to rotate this another way. If you double click in the picture and rotate it, it doesn't jack up the framing box. That's a secret InDesign trick, because I don't want the framing box to get messed up. There we go. That looks better. I like that. Good, okay. And then we'll simply rotate this around. And by holding the Shift key, I can keep the rotation to 45-degree increments. It makes it much easier. I maybe made the loops a little too big when I photographed this, but that's okay. I'm sure you'll survive. Okay, we'll rotate this. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, that's super nice. I'm gonna have to type that out. Thank you so much, Alpine Gulch. Alpine Gulch, I'm not sure where you are, other than you said you're, let's see, where are you? Hello from Oregon City, Oregon. Oh, Oregon City, Oregon, love it. I lived in Lincoln City for just over a year. Really beautiful place. It's a good place to live, so pretty fun there. Thank you. All right. Okay, so I need to copy my directions. Oh, the Munter Hitch. The Munter Hitch is good, so let me go get my instruction set. Standing part, running in, directions, numbers, running in there. Okay. I gotta think of something for you there, Alpine Hitch, or Alpine Gulch. That's pretty cool. Okay. Standing part, running in. So this is the interesting thing about the Overhand Bite, is the bite actually becomes, I'm gonna need to shrink this down. The bite actually becomes the running into the rope. It's a little bit peculiar when you're describing this knot. So the running end actually becomes this. All right, we'll zoom in so you can see better what's going on. There you go. Standing part. And we'll put this right here. How about that? Cool. Okay, now that looks like a mess, but when I clean it up, it's no problem. But with all the grid lines here for alignment, it makes a big mess. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, Larry L. Hey, Larry L, thank you very much for popping in. You said you need to rewatch this after work. Totally cool. Not a problem. Let's see. Oh, Larry L, you said, do I ever dabble in slicing? Is it possible you meant splicing? Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to put a couple of splicing examples where you can either terminate the end of a woven rope or create a permanent loop or weave two ropes together. So I'm going to put some splicing into my book. So, oh yeah, yeah, I see your comment. Yes, so splicing is going to be in the most crucial knots to know. Most of the time, a lot of people use synthetic lines, so there's no real splicing opportunity in this. But I'll use I'll use a 550 cord to show the splicing process better, so you can create loops, connect ropes together, or terminate ends of woven ropes to make nice loops in there. So that's pretty cool, pretty sweet. Splicing, sure thing. Cool. So my screen's not automatically scrolling up. I don't know why. Let's see, top chat, live chat. All messages are visible. Okay, who knows? Standing part. Okay, get back to business here. Yeah, splicing is pretty fun. That is very difficult to illustrate, but I will do my best because I want to make sure to deliver the best products for you. So, step one, create a bite at the end of the rope, leaving enough to tie the knot with. If loop is to take a heavy load, make sure to leave plenty of tail. Now, I'm debating whether to call the running end or the standing part exactly what it is. I'm debating that, so definitely give me some thoughts if you've got that on there. Some of these things in the Ashley Book of Knots, which is the ultimate God Bible of all knots. His drawings are microscopic, so you had to guess. So I'm trying to make this book as visible and accessible as possible for you. Definitely. So create plenty of tail for safety. Boom. Done. Perfect. And then let's see. I'm going to put that comment over in the where to use because I don't want that messing up the general description. Then loop the bite over the created standing end of the rope. Okay, cool. Now step 2. And if you just hold the Option or Alt key down, you can actually copy things instead of copying and pasting. Let me tell you, that is totally cool. Hey, because let me know, let's see, when did you, so it's, hey, Blacklist, I'm reading on my laptop here, it's a little low, sorry, so you keep looking at my head. The book is scheduled to be out on February 1st, but hopefully I'll be able to get this done quicker, get it off to the proofer and the printer, and get it a little bit out earlier. I'm working crazy fast as I can to get this book launched, so you folks out there can enjoy it and use it, and definitely give me some feedback here. Definitely, so if nothing else, February 1st, but hopefully earlier, so we'll see. Let's see. February 1st, if nothing else. Cool. All right. Now, one of the things about InDesign is it has the snap feature where it snaps to the edge, and that way I can see exactly if the drawing and graphics are in the correct place. Let's see. Once the bite is laid over the standing part. So it's weird. This is, yeah, not done. This is called the running end. The part that does nothing or takes a load is called the standing part. Why it's not the standing end and the running end or whatever. But actually, technically, the standing part is here. But at the very, very end, way the heck over there, is actually the standing end. But nobody actually ever calls it the standing end because that's where the knot's not working. So running end, and then when Aaron drops it, running end. Running in and standing part. That's the rope terminology. Once you learn the rope terminology, all this stuff makes sense and it's consistent. So I want to make sure to be consistent with the market and help you out. So when you look up other knots, you'll be like, oh, that's what all that blah 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 means. So once this part is lower the standing part, take let's see, thread the standing part behind the, oops, nope. See, even I messed that up. Running end behind the standing part. Let's see. Take the running end behind the standing part and thread it through the created loop. Okay. Okay. Hey, Alpine Gulch, I'll make sure to put a comment in my next release video to thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that one. Super, super cool. Once bites later, standing part through loop. Okay. Now we're going to need to make some drawings. We love drawings. A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so now all I have to do is take you, and you, and edit originals. Pops in just like that. Glorious. Now, one challenge I'm having working here is for me to take, this screen capture and stream it. It makes my screen only 1080p instead of 5K, so it's like working on this massive desktop. It's really weird, but that's okay. It's Can't exactly stream 5K on iMac desktop over to YouTube yet. Maybe one day, but not right now. It's a bit much. Duplicate layers there, 908. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these lines and duplicating them elsewhere to hopefully make more sense and save myself a little bit of work. I don't know if it's really a good work savings, but I'll give it a try. So you do this here, draw that there, spin it around, continue, and there we go. Take the arrow. Now the funny thing is this picture ended up going sideways, so it looks totally weird at the moment. And there's a little lag in Photoshop apparently. Okay, take that there. Okay, now, it's one thing about creating these curves is sometimes they're a little bit funky. You don't want to make them look too awkward, but functional enough, and we will add a drop shadow. Now this drop shadow I don't have to clip out because I do have to clip it out. And why is that? Because I'll show you again. If I zoom in here, you'll see the drop shadows over the arrow. Looks kind of dorky. So what I'm going to do is extract the drop shadow, create a new layer, drop it down in between, below the arrow. Oh, did I wreck it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. No, shape. Oh, arrow. Totally messing up. Yay, there we go. Now I can fix the arrow so it doesn't look so weird. Still not quite right. Alright. Okay, and then the corner is still messed up. That's better. Now let's go see what it looks like in InDesign. Whoa! Too big. But I can actually make this bigger because there's nothing above it. Expand the arrow space down. Oh shoot, just a little bit too big. Come on. Yeah! Sweet! And so this becomes the standing part and the running end. Hopefully that's technically correct. Somebody will probably excoriate me on Amazon. This is the dumbest book ever! You should have called the Bite the... I get those all the time. Whatever. If that's what you need, then cool on you. You should check out the reviews on some books. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can find this. I mean, this was a horrible, horrible thing somebody wrote. Yeah, you've got to check out this reviews. Okay, where are we going? Where are we crying? It was so rude. Oh, okay, check this out. So this one author that I saw, I just was at a publishing event. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. I mean, yeah, obviously you can't read it there, but check this out. So this reviewer on Amazon, and then in a private, because Amazon apparently whacked it or something. So this reviewer sent this author who makes 6 figures a month on his books, sent this review. Check this out. Googled you. You are one talentless hack. The day you can write on my level, bleep hat, I won't swear here, bleep hat, fill in the blank, is the day like heck freezes over, H-E-L-L. I'm not trying to be a successful commercial fiction writer. Then why are you writing? I create literary art, doing my best pompous English accent. You are everything that blows chunks when it comes to the book world. Ouch. It's all about the money. No one would ever recognize your excrementitious work if they slid in it. Not one interesting phrase. Not one original idea. You are a pedestrian journeyman at best. And I'm still reading here. This goes on. You wouldn't recognize skill if it suckered you in the face. I may not sell well, but man, I can write. You, alas, are left wanting. I blow your doors off. Sit in the corner, short pants, and let real writers write. authors, we literally get comments like this fairly regularly. Check out my book, Antarctic Tears. You want to see some nasty, excoriating, you should die, go to HELL. Ooh. Yeah, so just something that popped into my head when I'm working on this. There will be haters, trust me on this one. Yeah, Larry L., that person is filled with vinegar. Not only is this person filled with vinegar, this person is not making sales, and that's probably why they're filled with vinegar. They can write the biggest five-letter or five-syllable words, but holy moly. So, yeah, that's what I expect it's going to happen. Oh well. Back to work here. Alright, speaking of, very entertaining. Once the bite is laid over. Okay, so now we need to edit this picture. Okay, so now we have to thread that through, delete the mask. Yeah, okay, shape. Okay, there we go. So it's going to go under, through, and around. And if I don't put too many dings in this curve, it will look quite natural. Yeah, we'll call that guy Mr. or woman, I don't know, that person, Mr. or Ms. The vinegar. I don't even know what to call him nowadays. It's a crazy world we live in. Alright. Don't want to get into that because the YouTube censors will censor me. I have my opinions, you have yours. And honestly, my opinions don't really matter that much. Hopefully you're checking out my videos that I put on how to tie knots, or those are coming up, and how to camp and how to adventure. And I just posted a video about how to repair your expensive shell jacket. That was pretty sweet, so check out my videos, my latest posted video on my YouTube channel. That'll show you how to repair your jacket so you can keep going with your gear. Whoops, cancel. You know, it's much more difficult than I would have expected to talk and edit pictures at the same time, because I'm talking about other things and not really focusing on my work, which is pretty funny in its own right, because I'm sure I'll add a typo in here. But if you folks out there see me make an error, let me know. I don't want to mess up my book here. It's a lot of work to get these things out, as you can see. Now, note that there are over 40 knots, hitches, splices in this book, and you can see how long this is taking me to edit these things. Now, I do have Photoshop people that can actually do quite a bit of this work, but I wanted to show you what it really takes to do this. But the final touches, I'm ultimately the one responsible for this. And if it's wrong, even if I have somebody else do it, it's still on me. I'm definitely a personal responsibility person. So if it goes sideways, I don't blame somebody else. I don't blame the economy, whatever. I blame my failing and not doing it right. So that's why I ultimately come down and do these parts myself. Even though it's highly laborious, but it gives you a chance to see just what all goes into this. Oh, and I missed the inner shadow. Dude, really? Oh, blew it. Dang it. So I missed the inner shadow in the shape here. Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh, crud. No big deal. Easily fixable. Of course, you gotta zoom way in down to the pixel level. It's pretty crazy to get this correct. Now, if I were slick, I would have my Wacom tablet out here and be drawing this on a tablet, but I just don't have enough room on my desk. Plus, I need to mouse around on the computer, and the tablet's too slow for that, but the Wacom tablet is excellent, or maybe it's Wacom, I don't know, maybe it's Wacom, is excellent for doing the drawings, but it is terrible for doing work on the computer. So my drop shadow is dead. Try it again. Yeah, once I trashed my drop shadow, then it totally doesn't work. Oh well. Create layer. Yes, I want my layer. Drop shadow, mask the drop shadow. It's pretty big operation there. And that, extracting that shadow layer to be able to do this editing, I learned as well, and that's very helpful. Okay. Alright, go through there. Alright, go through here. Okay. Fix that, make sure the shadow works there. Now, I'm working at the crazy pixel level, but when this goes to print, you won't see it, but if there's a white line, you will see it. So it's critical that I get this right. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of a white line there. Gotta fix that. Whoa. There we go. Fix that all up. Zoom! Alrighty. Make sure to put my layer down. Voila! Come back to InDesign. Like magic. Love this. See how we're looking here. Loop it through. Drop it. Standing part. Bite. Okay. And now we just talk about tensioning the knot. And for my tensioning, I don't use yellow, I use purple. So a purple here, and I've got my code on my whiteboard that you can't see, but it's not like it's some super secret or anything. Ooh. So purple is my tensioning color, and my tensioning color is code. It is code AA2B73 in hexadecimal. By the way, I did engineering as a software engineer for 20 years. I literally designed night vision systems for attack aircraft and attack helicopters. It was pretty fun. I'm doing this nowadays. It's various reasons for that, but it was a fun career. Maybe I'll go back to it one day, but I literally haven't had a day job since like 2012, and I'm not really interested in going back to a day job. So definitely appreciate your support out there for hopefully producing products that you find useful and that you'll actually enjoy. Oh, that angle view is kind of cool. What do you think about that? All right. Yeah, hopefully I'm creating products and useful things for you to enjoy in videos. That way I can continue on what I'm doing instead of having to go get the day job. I do not want to do that again. I'm almost at a decade, so I'm pretty proud of that for what it is. Definitely thank you to my parents for giving me the vision to actually do this sort of thing. They were highly supportive in my expedition to the South Pole. Whoa, that's a squirrely line. I actually literally skied to the South Pole by myself. Yeah, you gotta do something. It's in my book. Where is it here? I've got a whole pile of books. Yeah, check this out. I've been blessed to be able to write all these books, but if you want to read what it's like to go to the South Pole solo, check out Antarctic Tears. It is a riot. Let me tell you, that was one crazy adventure. To literally ski alone to the South Pole, no dogs, no backup, no nothing, where whatever happened to me was my problem. Okay, back to work. Yeah, Antarctic Tears, man. That expedition was super, super awesome. All right. Whoa, whoops. There it was, got a little space there. Okay. That still looks weird. Cool. All right. Not bad. Okay, let's finish it up here, get it lined up to the very top. Okay, make some space, get a number over here, step number 3, and directions here. I know this looks like a mess, but as soon as I fix the mess, get it all typed up, you will see what it looks like in the end. It's pretty magical, kind of cool, really. Oops, let's do this again. There we go. If you don't get it exactly right, it's generally not a problem, but I like to do as good a work as I can. That way I can deliver the best product possible to you. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to take the tension, the bite loop, and the standing part to tighten the knot. Make sure there are no loose loops or lines. Okay, no loose loops or lines. Okay. The overhand bite is the simplest knot to create a loop at the end of a rope width. Okay, double checking my screen to make sure it's still there. The knot is, let's say this knot is strong and is easy to inspect, making it versatile and valuable. If used for carrying important or overhead loads. I don't know if you want to use this now for overhead loads. I'll just call that important loads because I don't want to make you think you can carry a 100-pound thing over your head and not have something happen. Loads, add an additional overhand knot. Nope. Overhand knot or double overhand knot. One of the conventions I'm using in my book is anytime I refer to a named knot in the book, I will capitalize it. Hopefully that conveys a little bit more of the importance there. Let's see. Oh wait, Larry L. I stopped subscribing to backpacking channels because I stopped learning and find your stuff more educational and super insightful. Man, thank you so much, Larry. I think it's time for me to start driving home and stop sitting in my SUV watching the video. Larry L, definitely thank you very much for watching the video. Please drive safely home to your family. I really appreciate it. Hey, by the way, send me some direct messages for other video ideas of, hey, what about this, what about that? That way I can send and create videos. I mean, the biggest trouble is always coming up with more ideas for videos to bring value to you. So definitely, please leave me comments. I read them all. It takes me a while. Please forgive me. I get a lot of comments. But leave me comments and I will definitely see if I can make a video to make it more valuable to you. So thank you very much, Larry L. I appreciate it. Travel safely home. Cool. All right, let's see. Switch over here, come back. See if this loop is to take a heavy load. Let's say an additional overhand to the free end or free end of the line. Plenty of tail for safety. Whoa, what the heck happened there? Wrong character, paragraph style. So paragraph styles, body step, body text, yeah. Somehow I chose the wrong style. Paragraph styles are super valuable in InDesign. It makes me able to work way faster than Word. Oh gosh, Microsoft Word, you were valuable, but not for this work. Oof. Make sure to leave plenty of tails for safety. This knot will bind up and is difficult to untie once shock loaded. Also, let's see, it is, let's see, it's easier to tie the figure 8 on a bite and is also less likely to come undone under cycled loading. Okay, so what I'm doing there, I don't know, is anybody still watching? Yeah, okay, people are still watching, cool. So here's an interesting thing. I'll use the green. I'll use the green and the orange rope here. Okay, so I'm going to tie two different knots. One is the overhand on a bite. Okay, so the overhand on a bite there. Compare that to the figure 8 on a bite. Takes a little more looping around, which is also in my book. This is an important knot as well. The figure 8 on a bite. There we go. Now the figure 8 on a bite, even though the figure 8 is the knot, or the follow-through figure 8, is the knot used for climbing. You literally The follow-through figure eight is a knot you can trust your life with. Nobody ever does the single overhand bite on a bite for climbing because you want a little bit more mass. But on loading, if you imbalance this knot, in theory, when it takes loosening and then pulling, loosening and then pulling, the figure eight theoretically can come loose. The loosening and pulling on the overhand bite, not as much. But when you climb and once you fall on this thing, holy moly, if you don't get this knot tightened up just right, it is a real pain to get apart. The overhand knot, same sort of thing. Theoretically, the figure eight knot actually has more strength. Maybe I'll mention that instead. Compared to the overhand on a bite, the figure eight on a bite, it's a little bit stronger. So that's theoretically a say. So I better not. It is easier to tie than the figure eight bind on a bite. Yeah. Bite. The figure eight on a figure eight follow through knot is used for climbing. Okay, and maybe that's good enough. I don't need to get too verbose. I mean, if you want to create a loop at the end of a rope, the overhand knot, the overhand bite is the knot to use. So you're going to see all this mess, right? Switch it over in screen so this looks like a total wreck. And voila! Oh wait, let me blank myself out. There you go. So you can still hear me, but now you can see what this whole knot looks like. It's pretty cool. I've failed to make the description there. Hang on. Inset. Still okay. It's the easiest not to create a loop. Create a loop. Difficult to untie once loaded. And easy to inspect. Easy to inspect. We'll go on top. That way makes a nice staggered pyramid. And voila again! Perfect. Okay. We'll tune and tweak here. That knot is too big on there. Okay, cool. There we go. What do you think? Not too bad. Yeah, let me clear the screen so you can see it. What do you think of this? The whole process, as you can see, there's a lot of Photoshop. There's a lot of Photoshop work. There's a lot of InDesign work, Lightroom work. I even use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator to make some of the illustrations. Holy moly, this is like a crazy, I live by and die by Adobe package. So it's definitely quite a process to make this work. I've been on air for an hour 13. I've got 3 concurrent viewers. So it's about dinner time for me here. As you can see, it's dark outside. I'm going to sign off here, but again, let me check the preview here. Hopefully, where are you? Don't go away yet. Hang on. Where is the book cover? Okay, cool. So switch back to this. So this book will be coming out. This book will be coming out, if nothing else, February 1. It will be in print format and also ebook format. Definitely check it out. Links are in the description. Trying my best to make the best possible book for you. So if you're a camper, adventurer, expeditionist, survivalist, prepper, outdoorsman, a person that needs to hang up clothes at home, I literally go from the crazy people like myself and maybe yourself to the folks at home where I just need to tie a clothesline. What knots do I use? This book has an entire section of, let me show you the bonus material. Ooh, yes, that's going to be exciting. Okay, bonus material for you folks. How to set up a survival tarp, how to lift a pipe, how to tie a kayak to a car roof, tie a loop in the middle of a rope, tie a bag close. This book gives you a long list of the knots that you should use for each of these circumstances. And that's one thing I found lacking in my competitors' books is, yeah, the knots are great, but the number one complaint that I saw in the reviews is, that's great. Where do I use this and how do I choose one knot or the other? and this is a really key point, so this is what I'm focusing on in my book as well, is where do you use these knots and when do you use them? That is the thing. And there's a whole section on knot tying scenarios that I'll give a lot of suggestions on what knots to use, and in each individual knot, when not to use the knot. Sounds crazy. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. Check out links below to my books: Antarctic Tears, Lost at Windy Corner, Adventure Expedition 1, How to Keep Your Feet Warm in the Cold. Now this is live stream, so I can't drop this on. How to Keep Your Feet Warm in the Cold, Antarctic Tears, Adventure Expedition 1, Lost at Windy Corner. If you want to know what it's like to climb Denali solo, this is it. Very inspirational. Jackson Hole Hiking Guide, the Illinois, or not the Illinois, but the Total Eclipse Guides for 2024. Check that out. Yeah, if you want to, by the way, there's an eclipse going over the U.S., total eclipse in 2024. It's going to last almost twice as long as the 2017 eclipse. Totally sweet. And then my book coming out soon, The Most Crucial Knots to Know. Step-by-step guide to how to tie 40-plus knots for camping, survival, and preppers. Thank you very much for watching, and stay safe out there.